ladies and gentlemen, Quinteto San Juan featuring Juan Suren.
Y escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó. Pero que escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó. La rumba que ella me llama, un tambor que la reclama, un coro que dice así, y un coro que dice así. Que escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó. Pero que escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó. La rumba que ella me llama, y un tambor que la reclama, y un coro que dice así, y un coro que dice así. Caballero, oye la rumba, la rumba, la rumba. Mira la esencia la traigo yo.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Y toditos lo esperaban, pero la esencia, mira, la traigo yo.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Para que lo baile la mulata, para que lo goce con mucho sabor.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Para que sigan gozando, mira, vamos al mambo. Y la rumba, oye, soy yo.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Juan Suren, la guitarra. Caballero, mira bien la rumba, esta es la esencia del guaguancó.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Yo te trae mi mango del monte, pa' que lo goce, ya va la esencia del guaguancó.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Ya no está más a mi lado, corazón, en el alma solo siento un guaguancó.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Oye, la esencia, la esencia, la esencia la tengo yo.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Y con esta me despido, oye, la rumba ya se acabó.
Escucha usted la esencia del guaguancó.
Hi, welcome to Entre, Nosotros on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm your host, Gilberto Gonzalez. Okay, today my guests are Brent Bice and Linda Warner from Esperanza Academy. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
So Brent, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Great. So I grew up living west in California, and my family gradually moved east. I lived in California, and then Wisconsin, and then Indiana, and then Washington, D.C. area. And I ended up living in Philadelphia about 13 years ago. I went to Eastern University, not too far west of the city. And then after graduating from Eastern, decided to pursue a degree in education. And I decided to teach at Esperanza, which was an amazing opportunity for me, wanting to work with students in the city. I just really fell in love with Esperanza's mission. And so
Esperanza Academy, for people that don't know the school, it's in the middle of North Philadelphia.
Correct, yeah.
Why the middle of North Philadelphia?
So as a teacher, one of the things that I really wanted to do was to work with students who had really good stories to tell and teach those students how to tell those stories in a way that would be accessible to a larger audience. So I knew that students in Philadelphia, and particularly in the Hunting Park area in North Philadelphia, where Esperanza is located, had this very, oftentimes very trying experience growing up with a lot of rough influences, a lot of benefits as well of the area, but there's a lot of challenges. And so I wanted to work with those students and give them the skills to be able to tell their stories well.
Now, again, the middle of North Philadelphia,
right.
And you have probably a majority of Latino students.
Right.
And was there like an adjustment, a cultural adjustment? I mean, because here's
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I'm as white as white can be, yeah, so definitely. So I speak a little bit of Spanish, which helped, but I sort of reveled in the fact that I was different and tried to help sort of kids feel comfortable by being comfortable myself. But yeah, there was definitely a cultural difference, especially having lived in Indiana and Wisconsin, very different places from North Philadelphia. And I had a lot of learning to do too. So just getting to know students and hearing their stories has been very valuable for me.
Were they open? I mean, because I mean, I grew up in North Philadelphia, so I know sometimes, like, our teachers get the brunt of what we do sometimes. So how was it was it the students accepting of you?
Sure, it was an education for me, I think, as well as for them. But yeah, I was surprised by how I was welcomed in by students. I think a lot of students really appreciated the fact that their teachers were there for them. Teaching in North Philadelphia is not just sort of a 9-to-5 kind of a job. You're there a lot, and you're pouring into kids' lives, or at least you're trying to. And I think kids immediately recognized that and responded to that, wanting to be receptive, and they appreciated the fact that they had a chance to be listened to, treated with some respect. And so I tried to do that and listen to their stories, and certainly learned a lot myself.
Cool. Yeah. Now, Linda is in your class.
Right.
And it's a journalism class.
Right.
So Linda, you want to tell me a little bit about that class?
BICE kind of lets students, take it wherever they want to take it. It's kind of very independent, rather. Mr. BICE gives you a set of rules and gives you sort of expectations and lets you take it wherever you need to take it. And he lets you express yourself through, your own stories. And he just kind of guides you into making sure you tell your story the best you could.
Wow. So one of the reasons you guys are here is because you guys did these amazing videos.
Oh,
but
thank you.
But you mentioned earlier in our conversation that you originally were teaching journalism, right? And were you part of that class as well, the journalism class?
I wasn't a part of it until my sophomore year. And come junior year, that's when I was introduced to BICE as my journalism teacher.
Wow. So now journalism is for print, right? Or traditionally for print.
Right.
But you've taken it in a different direction.
Yeah, so we were approached this fall with a unique opportunity. The students who've been in journalism, like Linda, have only had the chance to write. And we were approached by media organization WHYY, who gave us the opportunity to use their professional film equipment and to let the students take that equipment home and make stories about their educations. And they very graciously gave us free rein on that project to sort of let the students tell the stories that they wanted to tell. And so we jumped on that opportunity. And so Linda was one of the students who got to take advantage of it.
How did it feel to hold a camera? Was that your first time holding a camera?
No.
Okay.
But it was actually more nerve-wracking, I would say, because now it's like, I'm not just holding this camera for me or, for Facebook or Instagram. I'm now holding it for, the thousands of people that are going to view my video, and especially Bice, because I know that Bice was kind of behind us all, and he's always there to, guide us through whatever we do. So not only did I want to let down people who were going to watch it, but I also didn't want to let down Mr. Bice. I wanted to make sure that what I recorded was usable in a way that would be beneficial to everyone, not just myself.
Wow. I just have to commend you, Mr. Bice, because obviously the connection you have with the students is really wonderful, and it's something that it's not easy. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much.
So I want you to introduce your video, but maybe just tell us a little bit about it before we go into it.
So my video is about 4 minutes long, and it really demonstrates the struggles and distractions that, go along with being a student in Philadelphia.
All right, so here's the video.
My name is Linda Warner. I'm 18 years old, and I attend Esperanza Academy. Education to me is learning how to look at things from different perspectives and having a general understanding as to why everything is the way it is. When I was little, I always kind of wanted to be like a model, but realistically, I want to study journalism. My love for it is influenced by my past positions as sections editor and now as editor-in-chief of my school's newspaper called Esperanza Post. Now that I'm a senior, reality has kind of smacked me in the face a little bit. When I was little, I used to think that being a senior was glorious and that it'd be like, oh, glory days, and like I'd have so much fun. But now it's like I kind of have to grow up, and it kind of sucks. I try to write in white instead of black so that even if I mess up, my ink can't prove what I lack. I always attempt to walk straight and attempt to hold my posture, and yet for some reason that just puts me out as bait, and everyone says I'm my own terrible monster. They say I can't reach my goal, but if personal perfection didn't exist, then what's the definition in which this word should hold? Because all I'm trying to do is avoid this whole failure mist and work towards something bigger so that when I'm older, outside of school, I used to participate in poetry slams, which helps you articulate things and helps you look at things from a different perspective, which I think ties into my definition of education. So I think writing and looking at things from different views helps you really just broaden your whole idea about everything, regardless of what it is. I think that my family as a whole and society in general motivates me. I feel like living in North Philadelphia makes people have a stereotype on you, and I feel like we're looked down upon because of where we live and how we are, and rather how we speak. So I feel as though that's a motivation in itself. One weakness would be I have anxiety problems, and anxiety issues, like, it adds up to your stress because it could be the simplest things of a homework assignment or a due date. And anxiety just makes you overthink and like overwhelm yourself with all these different things when it's just simple. Do your homework and get it handed in on time. As graduation approaches quickly, the process of preparing for college is honestly one of the most real and challenging things I've ever had to deal with. I mean, paying for college is hard for anyone, especially as an 18-year-old senior. I'm terrified. I'll be the first to graduate high school in my family and definitely the first to attend college, so the pressure is on. Every day is kind of like an uphill battle for me. I feel like it's a constant struggle between making a decision between sleeping and eating and school. So it's either one of the three that I choose. I don't really spend much time socially, nor do I spend much time just sitting around. I feel like it's crucial to make sure that you do everything the best you can do it, and if not, make sure you put in the best effort. I hope to have a comfortable life, to not really have to stress about anything like money and bills. I don't know, I just hope that when I'm older and I have kids of my own, that I don't necessarily have to worry about everything that I have to worry about at the moment. My biggest accomplishment would probably be the fact that I'm very rememberable. I've made a name for myself in the sense of when people hear Linda Warner, they know and picture like me in their head, and I feel as though that's one of my biggest accomplishments.
that was really powerful and amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
Before we get into the whole detail about the video, tell me a little bit about how you came up with this idea.
So I'd always wanted students to have the chance to tell their stories in a different format, and video gives students a unique opportunity to be able to go places that print can't go, and to show their stories rather than just tell them. And so that was a really neat opportunity. I wanted students to go to the places that they knew and had lived in and show that to a wider audience.
Great. So now, okay, tell me about the video.
Within my video, I wanted to demonstrate not just, general, struggles. I wanted to make sure that it was relatable. Like, I've been through that before. Like, for instance, I know that a lot of people in Philadelphia are bullied. And I know that it's kind of hard not to be sidetracked by all the distractions within Philadelphia, with going with what everyone else does.
So what type of bullying did?
So growing up, within elementary school, because middle school I was homeschooled, I'd be bullied for my race. And not only was I bullied for my race, I was bullied because I did other things that, wasn't normal or wasn't the cool thing to do.
Right, so you're half Irish and half Puerto Rican,
Yes.
so people saw you
As the little white girl. So they're like, okay, not only was I different, physically, I was also different, I guess you could say, personality-wise, because everyone else was about, partying and, let's not do this work, let's go do something else. And I was just like, let's do this and let's see where it can take us. And I think that having that, point of view held many different
Yeah. No, go ahead, that's many.
with many different, I guess, opinions from other people, and I guess differences.
Well, that particular point about bullying, the fact that it's one of the things you address in the video, is it's brave and it's also powerful because it does happen in our community, and kids need to know that they can get beyond that. That they don't have to accept that.
Agreed.
So tell me a little bit more about some of the other things you covered in the video.
I also talked about my anxiety, which kind of ties into being homeschooled for middle school. I was homeschooled because, of course, the bullying, and because my mom didn't want me surrounded by an environment where I'd be forced to do things that I didn't necessarily want to do. So with being homeschooled, I didn't have many friends. I was stuck at home around my family for most of the time. And come high school, it was a huge transition. I was surrounded by people who had friends already and who knew who they were and knew what they wanted to do. Whereas myself, I was just like, oh my God, this is all new. It's not elementary school anymore. And I kind of have to be the person that everyone expects me to be. So with going through that, a lot of anxiety has kind of been one of my biggest struggles.
So how did, in the video, how do you express that? Like, how did you overcome that? Because obviously you did. I mean, you're just like, you're talking great, you present yourself great, the video was awesome, so.
So I think journalism and Mr. Bice personally has kind of helped me get over the whole shy and oh my God, anxiety, whole attack. With journalism, I was able to, express my word through the newspaper, and people would come up to me, oh my God, I read what you read and I totally agree with what you say. So I'm like, okay, now people agree with me, I'm not just an outcast anymore.
And how did that feel? How did that feel?
It felt great. It was liberating. I think, people reading, what I write and what I think is pretty awesome. So having that opportunity with Mr. Bice, and I used to participate in, poetry slams with Motivos magazine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So poetry, also allowed me to, express myself through a personal level, not just academically.
So with the poetry slam, like where were they, and like how did that all come about?
Throughout my homeschooling experience, if I wasn't doing work, I wasn't outside or, going out. So I would just, write poetry. And then one day I read it to my mom, and my mom was like, that's pretty cool. You should share that. So I shared it one day, and, others thought the same. So I sort of just elaborated off of that and continued to do so.
Well, and then what else were some of the other aspects of the video?
I would say a lot of my friends and, teachers like Mr. Bice have helped push me in a direction to, have confidence in myself. With my anxiety, I was, I always felt not good enough. I was like, I'm not going to do that because that's what not, I'm not supposed to do that, and it's not normal.
So now you're walking around North Philadelphia shooting video.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes a lot of
Yeah.
that takes not confidence but guts too.
Yeah.
Like, how was that experience? How were people like? How did people react to that?
Everyone was staring. So that was kind of, like, oh my God, why are they looking at me? But I was like, well, I have a camera in my hand, so they're probably curious as to what I'm doing. And I feel like that was a really cool experience because not only are they looking at me, they're paying attention to what I do, which I wasn't used to. I'm used to people, just brushing me off. So having people pay attention to me and actually what I was doing was extraordinary.
You're with the camera and they're asking you, hey, well, why are you shooting me? Or, like, and you explained it, and what were their reactions?
They also thought it was such an extraordinary experience. I feel like not only was it eye-opening for them, but it was eye-opening for myself. I wanted to make sure that my educational story wasn't just all about academics. It was also about on a personal level, so that others could relate to it. And I feel like when I explained that to the people, they kind of wanted to engage into it. They were like, yo, can I be in your video? Can we do the same thing? So I thought that was pretty cool.
Very nice. Now, in the video, there's some milestones that they're the first time in your family this is happening, that's happening. What?
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about that. I mean, because like, I think in North Philadelphia, I don't know if you know the statistics, but Latinos drop out. I think have one of the highest dropout rate in the nation in North Philadelphia, which I think it's like 63, 64% of Latino youth drop out. And you're changing that number around.
Yeah. So my parents were young parents. They got together younger than me, actually. They participated in some of high school but never graduated. So I would be the first to graduate high school and the first to attend college in my family. Growing up, I was always told just to do the minimum and just to do the best that I could at minimum, so that I made sure that I had a mediocre, not necessarily mediocre, but I had some type of common ground to know that I would be okay. And I don't think that being okay in life will get you, where you really want to be. So settling isn't what I want to pursue. I want to make sure that I push the limits and go above and beyond of just settling.
And what inspired you to do that? I mean, because it's tough. In North Philly, I born and raised in North Philly, I know it's tough.
I agree.
Especially that peer pressure, it can really be a son of a bitch. It could be like, they just pound you every day with it. And it's more, I think it's more pressure, more peer pressure in North Philly than other communities just because of the statistics.
Right.
You name it, it's the worst in North Philadelphia. Even, I don't know if you guys, the other statistics I want to throw out there is the second poorest community in the nation for children is third in Indiana.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Which I think it's not too far from Esperanza Academy. So, I mean, being in North Philadelphia, you already have so much going against you, and here you are, and you're not settling.
Well, because I think with all of it against you, it kind of puts pressure on you to go against it as well. You kind of want to battle it in a way to be like, okay, well, if you want to put this on me, I'm going to put this on you, and kind of show you what I can do even with all the pressure put on me. Wow. So I think with all the negative aspects and stereotypes and, the undermining of Philadelphian students, I feel like that was a motivation in itself to be like, although you say this about me and although these are the statistics, I will make sure that I'm not one of them.
All right. I like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because that's inspirational.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that.
No, thank you.
And for your video, when other people look at it, and they are looking at it, what do you want them to walk away with?
I just want them to know that, even though you may seem like an outcast at the time because you're doing better for yourself opposed to going out with your friends that one Friday night, you could stay home, do your work, and later on in life it will all pay off. Later on, instead of settling for that one movie night or settling and pushing your AP homework aside, that later on in life you're going to look at that person that did that and be like, well, I can have as many movie nights as I want now, but I'm still making more than you.
Yeah.
Right. So, so for college, what year are you in?
My senior year.
Your senior year?
Yes.
All right. And so, like, what's your next step?
So I hope to, go to a 4-year college. I want to major in communication, and hopefully I'll get into broadcast journalism and then pursue my career from there.
Wow.
And if I can just interject
Yes.
something, I think what's really remarkable about Linda's experience here is, while Linda has made some major accomplishments, she's the editor-in-chief of our school newspaper. She's taking AP classes. She's working hard. The main difference here is that Linda chose to work hard and that she had a camera. And I think it's just so interesting that Linda did not have some innate advantage above other students. She was living in the same neighborhoods as everybody else, in a neighborhood with a lot of troubles, a lot of difficulties. But she had a camera, and then she put in the hard work to tell her story. And it's just exciting for me as a teacher to be able to see a student like Linda who is choosing to put in the effort to pursue larger opportunities in life, rather than just letting these circumstances push her down and dictate what her life is going to be like.
What are the challenges for you? Because I'm sure Linda had her moments. Like,
so don't we all?
like
right?
From North Philadelphia,
Right.
what were the challenges that?
So I think some of the challenges that students face sort of get carried into the classroom. So for example, they may have some home situations that are going through some tough times, where maybe they don't have quiet to be able to concentrate on schoolwork. So it becomes hard to get that homework done, and then I'm breathing down their neck about all those homework assignments. Or it can be really hard for them to stay awake when they have lots of other responsibilities. Maybe they're holding down a job, plus they have family responsibilities, taking care of a brother or sister after school, plus all this homework that their teachers are giving them. So the challenges for teachers are the things that the students are bringing with them into the class. The fact that they can't always just concentrate on school is a reality. And so as teachers, you try to encourage the students as much as you can and give them opportunities as much as you can, and then just support them and believe in the students. And then it's exciting to see when students like Linda choose to not let those difficulties dictate what their life's going to be like. They just choose to say, well, I have all this other stuff going on, and I'm also going to go to college, and I'm going to be the first one in my family to do that. That's just really exciting.
That's beautiful.
Thanks, Bryce.
That is beautiful. That's all the time we have today. I would like to thank my guests, Brent and Linda, for being on my show. And I would like to thank you for tuning in. You have been watching Entre Nosotros on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm your host, Gilberto Gonzalez. See you next time.